The October rain fell in sheets across Riverside University's main quad. Joe Martinez, 21, and in his senior year of engineering, sprinted toward the library with his backpack held over his head. He was already late for his study group, already stressed about his senior project, already thinking about the 100 things on his to-do list. Then he saw her. She sat under a makeshift canopy. Near the library steps, a blue tarp stretched between two poles that looked ready to collapse at any moment. Her table was covered with homemade treats. Brownies wrapped in cellophane, cookies tied with ribbon, mason jars filled with what looked like caramel sauce, a handwritten cardboard sign propped against a shoebox read, "Homemade sweets help me pay for books." But it wasn't the sweets that stopped John in his tracks. It was her. She had dark, wavy hair pulled back in a messy bun, a few escaped strands plastered to her face by the rain. Her brown eyes were focused intensely on rearranging her display as water began dripping through a tear in her tarp. She wore a faded denim jacket over a simple white t-shirt, and there was something about the determined set of her jaw, the way she refused to give up even as the rain threatened to ruin everything, that made John's heart skip. He found his feet carrying him toward her table before his brain caught up. "Your tarp is leaking," he said, immediately wanting to kick himself for stating the obvious. She looked up, and for a moment, their eyes met. Hers widened, slightly surprised, maybe a little wary. "I know," she said, her voice carrying a hint of frustration as she moved a tray of brownies to the dry side. "This stupid thing tears every other week." Without thinking, John shrugged off his jacket. "Here," he said, holding it over the tear. Rain immediately soaked through his shirt, cold and shocking, but he didn't move. The girl stared at him like he'd grown a second head. "Are you crazy? You're getting drenched." Already wet," John lied. He'd been mostly dry under his backpack. "At least this way your sweets stay safe." She bit her lip, looking torn between pride and practicality. Finally, she sighed. "Thank you. That's really kind of you." She paused, then added, "I'm Sofia Rodriguez. John Martinez." He smiled, rain dripping down his face. "Engineering major, apparently bad at making good first impressions." Sofia laughed, a sound like wind. Chimes that made something warm bloom in John's chest despite the cold rain. "I'd say holding your jacket over a stranger's leaking tarp is a pretty memorable first impression." "Good memorable or weird memorable? Jury's still out," Sofia said with a teasing smile that made John's heart race. They stood there for a moment, rain falling around them, John's jacket creating a small island of dryness over Sofia's table. Students rushed past, but John barely noticed them. All he could see was this girl with determination in her eyes and flowers still dusting her forearm. "So," John said, scrambling for a reason to keep talking to her, "what's your specialty? What should I try first?" Sofia's face lit up. "The salted caramel brownies are my bestseller. The chocolate chip cookies use brown butter, totally worth it. And the caramel sauce ... double quotes." She picked up one of the mason jars, holding it like precious treasure. 4 hours of stirring, but it's perfect on everything. "I'll take 2 brownies and a jar of caramel," John said immediately. "That's $13, Sofia said, then quickly added, "but take a cookie too, on the house." 4. The jacket assist. As she carefully wrapped his order, her hands moving with practiced efficiency, John watched her. He noticed the dark circles under her eyes that even her smile couldn't hide. The way her fingers trembled slightly from cold or exhaustion. He couldn't tell. The worn backpack at her feet that looked like it had seen better years. "You do this every day?" he asked. Sofia nodded, handing him his purchases, Monday through Friday, weather permitting. "Weekends, I work at Rosie's Diner downtown," she said it matter-of-factly, without self-pity, but John heard the exhaustion underneath. "What are you studying?" "English literature. Junior year." Her eyes softness. "I want to be a writer, maybe teach, someday. But first I have to, actually afford to stay in school." John wanted to ask Mora why she was doing this alone, where her family was. How she managed to bake and study and work, but something in her expression stopped him. This wasn't the time. Instead he said, "Well, If these brownies are as good as they look, you've got yourself a regular customer. Sofia smiled, and John felt it like sunshine breaking through clouds. I'll hold you to that. A gust of wind suddenly tore John's jacket from his hands, sending it flying. He chased after it, slipping in a puddle, catching it just before it landed in a mud puddle. When he turned back, Sofia was really laughing, and the sound was so beautiful that John didn't even care that he was now completely soaked and muddy. You okay? She called out, still giggling. Pride's a little bruised, but I'll survive. John held up his muddy jacket like a trophy. Your jacket might not, Sofia said, wincing. I'm so sorry. Worth it, John said, meaning it completely. He helped her secure the tarp better with some spare rope from her supplies, their hands brushing as they tied knots. Each accidental touch sent electricity through him. When they were done, Sofia insisted he take extra brownies for his trouble. Really? I should be paying you for manual labor, she said. The brownies are payment enough, John replied. Then, gathering his courage, same time tomorrow. Sofia looked surprised, then pleased. I'll be here, rain or shine. As John walked away, his clothes soaked, his jacket ruined, $13 poorer, he felt inexplicably happy. He turned back once to see Sofia waving at him, her smile bright against the gray sky. He didn't know it yet, but his entire life had just changed direction. Love, he would learn, didn't always announce itself with trumpets. Sometimes it arrived on a rainy Tuesday, disguised as a girl selling sweets under a leaking tarp. The next day, John took the long route to his engineering building, the one that happened to pass right by the library steps. Sofia was already there, her table arranged with military precision. When she saw him approaching, her face lit up. My knight in soggy jacket returns, she called out. John laughed, holding up a small plastic bag. I brought duct tape and a patch kit. Figured we should fix that tarp properly. Sofia's expression shifted to something soft and surprised. You didn't have to do that. I know, John said simply, but I wanted to. As he patched the tarp, they talked. Sofia told him she woke up at 4 a.m. to bake, did homework between classes, worked the evening shift at the diner, then studied until midnight. John told her about his engineering project, his fear of not being good enough, his secret love of poetry that he'd never shared with his engineering buddies. You write poetry? Sofia asked, delighted. That's amazing! Will you show me sometime? John felt his cheeks heat. It's not very good. I bet it's better than you think, Sofia said firmly. Artists are always hardest on themselves. That became their routine. Every day, John would stop by Sofia's table. Monday, he brought better containers for her sweets. Tuesday, he helped her design proper price tags. Wednesday, he stayed for an hour, helping her serve customers during the lunch rush. Thursday, he brought his laptop and did homework while keeping her company. Friday, she insisted he try her new recipe pumpkin spice cookies with cream cheese frosting. These are incredible, John said, his eyes widening. Sofia, you could sell these in a real bakery. Sofia's smile faltered slightly. Someday. Maybe. When Mom's better. Your mom, John asked gently. Sofia looked down at her hands. She has lupus. She's been sick for 3 years now. The treatments are expensive, and insurance doesn't cover everything. That's why ... she gestured to her table. That's why all of this. John's heart clenched. Sofia, I'm so sorry. Don't be, she said quickly, meeting his eyes. I'm not ashamed. My mom raised me alone, worked 3 jobs to give me a good life. Now it's my turn to take care of her. Her voice cracked slightly. She's the strongest person I know. I just want to make her proud. She must be incredibly proud already, John said softly. Look at what you're doing. Working yourself to the bone, maintaining your grades, taking care of her. You're amazing. Sofia's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, she whispered. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that. The next week, John showed up with a Surprisa professional logo he'd designed for her business. Sofia's Sweets, he showed her on his tablet, with a little illustration of a whisk in a book. Because you're a baker, and a writer. What do you think? Sofia stared at the design, tears streaming down her face. John, I can't believe you did this for me. I have a graphic designer friend who owed me a favor, John said, trying to downplay it. We can get it printed on stickers, business cards, whatever you need. Sofia threw her arms around him, and John froze for just a second before hugging her back. She smelled like vanilla and cinnamon, and he wanted to stay in this moment forever. Thank you, she whispered against his shoulder. Thank you so much. As weeks passed, their friendship deepened. John found himself thinking about Sofia constantly, her laugh, her determination, the way she bit her lip when she was concentrating. He started writing poetry again, sonnets about a girl with flower in her hair and sunshine in her smile. His roommate, Marcus, noticed immediately. Dude, you've got it bad. I don't know what you're talking about, John said, not looking up from his poem. You're writing love, poetry, and buying brownies every single day. Just ask her out already. It's not like that, John protested. She's dealing with so much. Her mom, her bills, school. The last thing she needs is me complicating her life. Marcus shook his head. Or maybe you're exactly what she needs. Someone who sees her, not just her problems. John thought about that conversation as he approached Sofia's table the next Friday. She was dealing with an angry customer who was complaining about the prices. $3 for a brownie? That's ridiculous, the girl was saying loudly. Sofia's face was red, her voice quiet but firm. The prices are clearly marked. All ingredients are organic, and it's a ripoff, the customer interrupted rudely. John stepped forward. Actually, $3 is extremely reasonable for homemade, organic brownies. Bakeries charge $5 or $6 for the same thing, and Sofia's are better. He pulled out his wallet. I'll take 4 brownies. Here's 20. Keep the change. The rude customer huffed and walked away. Sofia looked at John with gratitude and something else. Something warmer. You didn't have to do that, she said softly. Yes, I did, John replied. Nobody talks to you like that. Sofia bit her lip, then reached across the table to squeeze his hand. You're a good person, Joe Martinez. Really good. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the busy campus seemed to fade away. It was just the two of them, hands linked across a table of sweets. Something unspoken but powerful growing between them. Sofia, John started his heart pounding. I was wondering if maybe Sofia, a woman's voice interrupted. They both turned to see a tired-looking woman with Sofia's eyes approaching. Mia, we need to go, the hospital called. Sofia's face went white. What happened? Is she okay? She's asking for you, the woman Aunt, John Guest said urgently. Sofia started throwing supplies into her backpack with shaking hands. John immediately began helping her pack up. Go, he said firmly. I'll take care of all this. I'll bring everything to your dorm later. John, I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. Go be with your mom. Sofia looked at him, tears in her eyes, then stood on her tiptoes and kissed his cheek. Thank you, she whispered, then ran off with her aunt. John stood there, his cheek tingling where her lips had touched, his heart full of worry and something else, something that felt a lot like love. The hospital room was cold and sterile, smelling of antiseptic and anxiety. Sofia sat beside her mother's bed, holding her frail hand. Maria Rodriguez looked smaller than she had. Just a week ago, her skin pale against the white sheets. Mia, her mother whispered, her voice weak. You should be at school. School can wait, Mama, Sofia said, squeezing her hand gently. You're more important. No, Maria said with surprising firmness. Your education is everything. It's the future I worked so hard to give you. What good is a future if you're not in it? Sofia's voice broke. The doctor came in, his expression serious. Mrs. Sofia Rodriguez, Sofia, I need to discuss Maria's treatment options. What followed was a nightmare dressed in medical terminology. The standard treatments weren't working anymore. There was a clinical trial, new, promising, potentially lives, but it was experimental, expensive, and insurance wouldn't cover it. How expensive? Sofia asked. though she was terrified of the answer. The first round is $50,000. The room tilted. Sofia couldn't breathe. $50,000. She'd been working herself to death and had barely saved $3,000. There are payment plans, the doctor said gently, and there are organizations that might help. How long does she have without it? Sofia interrupted. The doctor hesitated. It's hard to say. 6 months, maybe a year. Sofia felt her mother squeeze her hand. Mia, maybe it's time to know, Sofia said fiercely. Don't you dare give up. We'll find a way. I'll find a way. But as she sat in that hospital room, watching machines beep and hum around her dying mother, Sofia had never felt more helpless. She stayed at the hospital for 3 days, sleeping in uncomfortable chair, barely eating. She missed classes, didn't answer her phone, let the world fade away. Nothing mattered except the woman in that bed, the woman who had sacrificed everything to raise her alone. On the 3rd day, her mother was stable enough to rest comfortably, and her aunt forced Sofia to go home and shower. You can't help her if you collapse from exhaustion, Aunt Carmen said. Firmly, Sofia returned to her tiny dorm room to find it filled with flowers, cards, and food containers. Confused, she opened a card from your Engineering 101 study group. Hang in there, Sofia. Another card, the English Lit department is thinking of you. Another, your table was too quiet without you. Get well soon, Marcus John's roommate, and then she saw it a large basket wrapped in cellophane on her desk, filled with groceries, gift cards, and a handwritten note in familiar handwriting. Sofia, I hope your mom is okay. I've been keeping your table going, don't worry. I'm documenting every sale and every penny. Your customers miss you. I miss you. You're stronger than you know, but you don't have to be strong alone. Whatever you need, I'm here. John, PSI, finally finished. That poem I was working on, it's about a girl who sells sunshine wrapped in sugar. I'll show you when you're ready. Sofia clutched the note to her chest and sobbed. Big, ugly, desperate sobs that she'd been holding back for 3 days. She cried for her mother, for their impossible situation, for the kindness of near strangers, for the boy who saw her when she felt invisible. She texted John, can you come over? He arrived in 15 minutes, out of breath like he'd run the whole way. When Sofia opened the door, she didn't say anything, just walked into his arms and let herself break apart. John held her, one hand stroking her hair, whispering, It's okay. Let it out. I've got you. They sat on her floor for an hour while Sofia told him everything, the diagnosis, the clinical trial. The impossible cost her fear of losing the only family she had. I don't know what to do, she whispered. I've been so strong for so long, and I don't know how to keep going. John pulled back to look at her, his hands cupping her face gently. You don't have to know right now. You just have to keep breathing, one breath at a time. And I'll be here, breathing with you. Why? Sofia asked desperately. Why do you care so much? You barely know me. John's expression was so tender, it made her heart ache. I know you wake up at 4 a.m. to bake cookies for strangers. I know you work 3 jobs and still maintain a 3.9 GPA. I know you're strong enough to carry the weight of the world, but kind enough to give a free cookie to a kid who didn't have enough money. I know when you laugh, it sounds like music. I know when you concentrate, you bite your lip. I know you dream of writing novels that make people feel less alone. He paused. Maybe I don't know everything about you yet, but I know enough to know that I want to, that I care. He stopped, looking scared suddenly. That you what? Sofia whispered. That I love you, John said quietly. I know it's too soon, and probably terrible timing, and you have a million more important things to worry about, but I can't keep pretending I don't. I love you, Sofia Rodriguez. I think I've loved you since that first rainy day. Sofia stared at him, tears streaming down her face. John, I can't. I don't have room in my life for this. For love? For anything except saving my mother. I'm not asking for room, John said. Gently. I'm not asking you to add me to your burden. I'm asking you to let me help carry it. There's a difference. I don't know how to do that, Sofia admitted. I've been alone so long. It's just been me and Mom against the world. It doesn't have to be anymore. John took her hands. Let me in, Sofia. Let me help. What if I let you in and everything falls apart? What if I lose my mom? Anyway, what if I fail? Then you'll grieve and hurt and eventually heal. But you won't do it alone. I'll be right there beside you. John's voice was fierce. You're the strongest person I've ever met, but even the strongest people need support. Let me be yours. Sofia looked into his eyes. He was kind, honest, beautiful. Izan made a decision that terrified her. She leaned forward and kissed him. It wasn't a soft first kiss or a romantic movie kiss. It was desperate and scared and real. It was a kiss that said, I'm drowning and I'm choosing to trust you to help me swim. When they pulled apart, both were crying. Okay, Sofia whispered. Okay, I'm letting you in. John pulled her close, and they held each other on that dorm room floor while the world spun on around them. For the first in weeks, Sofia felt something other than despair. She felt hopey. The next few weeks were a blur of activity. John threw himself into helping Sofia with a determination that amazed her. He created a proper business plan for Sofia's sweets, complete with cost analysis and profit projections. He helped her set up an online ordering system. He recruited his engineering friends to build a website. But more than that, he was just there. He showed up at the hospital with coffee and sandwiches. He texted Sofia funny memes during her long study sessions. He held her hand during the scary doctor's appointments. He was a steady presence in the storm of her life. Sofia's business grew. Word spread across campus about the girl selling sweets to save her mother. Orders poured in. The student newspaper ran a feature story. A local TV station did a segment, Local Student Bakes Her Way Through Tragedy. The headline read, Sofia hated the pity, but she swallowed her pride and kept baking. Every dollar counted. But it wasn't enough. Even with the surge in business, she was barely making a dent in what she needed. $50,000 might as well have been 50 million. One night, as they packed orders in Sofia's dorm room, John was unusually quiet. What's wrong? Sofia asked. John took a deep breath. I've been thinking, I have a college fund, money my parents saved for graduate school. It's about $40,000. Sofia froze. John, no. Hear me out. Absolutely not. Sofia's voice was sharp with panic. You are not giving up your future for me. It's not giving up my future. Graduate school can wait. Your mother can't. No, Sofia said firmly. John, I love you. God help me. I love you so much. It scares me. But I cannot let you do this. What happens in 5 years when you resent me? When you realize what you sacrificed? That will never happen. You don't know that. Sofia was crying now. This is your dream, your education, your life. I won't be the reason you give it up. You're not a reason. You're a choice, John said desperately. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us. Why is that so hard for you to accept? Because I've spent my whole life watching my mother sacrifice everything for me, Sofia shouted. And now you want to do the same thing? Don't you see? I can't be the person people destroy themselves for. I won't. It's not destruction. It's love. It's both. Sofia sobbed, and I can't handle that. I just can't. She asked him to leave. John went, but not before saying, I'm not giving up on this, on us. Think about it, Sofia. Please. For 3 days, they didn't speak. Sofia threw herself into baking, working, studying anything to avoid thinking about the impossible choice in front of her. Accept John's help and live with the guilt, or refuse and watch her mother die. On the 3rd night, she went to visit her mother. Maria looked better, the temporary treatments giving her some strength. They sat together, watching a telenovela, comfortable in their silence. Mia? Maria finally said. Who is John? Sofia startled. How do you? Aunt Carmen told me about the boy who's been running your table, who visits the hospital, who looks at you like you hung the moon. Maria smiled. Tell me about him. So Sofia did. She told her mother everything, how they met, how John made her laugh, how he wanted to use his college fund to help them. And you said no. Maria stated. Of course I said no. Mom, I can't let him sacrifice his future. Maria was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, when I was 20, I fell in love with your father. He was brilliant, charming, full of dreams. When I got pregnant with you, he left. Said he wasn't ready for the responsibility. She took Sofia's hand. I could have been bitter, could have told you love wasn't worth it. But instead, I taught you to be strong, to depend only on yourself. You taught me well, Sofia said softly. Maybe too well, Maria replied. Mia, strength isn't just about carrying everything alone. Sometimes it's about knowing when to accept help, when to trust someone else with your burdens. But what if he means it when he says he loves you? Maria interrupted gently. What if letting him help isn't weakness but courage? What if you're so afraid of being hurt that you're pushing away the best thing that's ever happened to you? Sofia stared at her mother through tears. I'm so scared, Mama. I know, my love, but being scared means you're doing something that matters. That boy loves you, really loves you. The kind of love I always hoped you'd find. Don't let fear rob you of that. Sofia cried into her mother's shoulder, feeling 15 years old again. What do I do? You choose love, Maria said, simply. You let him in. You trust that together, you're stronger than you are apart. That night, Sofia texted John, Can we talk? They met at the library steps their place. It was raining again, like the first day they'd met. John stood there, soaked, holding 2 umbrellas. I figured if we were going to talk, we should stay dry this time, he said with a tentative smile. Sofia laughed through her tears and walked into his arms. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. You were trying to help and I pushed you away. It's okay, John said, holding her tight. I understand why you were scared. Sofia pulled back to look at him. My whole life, I've had to be strong, had to handle everything myself. Letting someone in, trusting someone to carry part of the weight, that's the scariest thing I've ever had to do. Scarier than selling sweets in the rain. Scarier than standing up to rude customers. Scarier than facing your mother's illness. Yes, Sofia said honestly, because all those things I could control, or at least try to, but love. Love means trusting someone with your heart, with your future. And that's terrifying. John cupped her face gently. I know, but Sofia, I'm not going anywhere. Rain or shine, good news or bad. I'm here. I love you. Not because you need rescuing, but because you're brilliant and strong and kind and you make me want to be a better person. I love you too, Sofia whispered. So much. And if you're really sure about this, if you really want to help, I'm sure. Then okay. Yes, I accept your help. I accept your love. All of it. They kissed in the rain to people who had found each other against all odds, who had chosen to fight together instead of alone. The next several months were a marathon of hope and heartbreak. John's contribution, combined with Sofia's savings and a fundraiser organized by the university, was enough to get Maria started in the clinical trial. The first few weeks were encouraging. Maria's numbers improved. She had more energy, more color in her cheeks. Sofia dared to hope. But then came the setbacks, the side effects, the days when Maria couldn't keep food down, couldn't get out of bed, looked at Sofia with pain-filled eyes and whispered, maybe we should stop. Never, Sofia said fiercely, every single time. We're not giving up. Through it all, John was there. He held Sofia when she cried. He studied medical journals to understand the treatment better. He sat with Maria in the hospital, reading her Sofia's favorite childhood books, making her laugh with terrible jokes. You're good for my daughter, Maria told him one afternoon when Sofia had fallen asleep in the hospital chair, exhausted from a long night of studying. She's good for me too, John replied, watching Sofia sleep with such love in his eyes that Maria had to look away, her throat tight with emotion. Sofia's business continued to grow. She hired 2 other students who needed extra income, teaching them her recipes, her techniques. She donated 10% of profits to help other families facing medical costs. You started something beautiful, John told her one evening as they packaged orders together. We started something beautiful, Sofia corrected, squeezing his hand, but the stress was taking its toll on both of them. Sofia's grades slipped. She lost weight she couldn't afford to lose. John missed important meetings for his senior project, fell behind on his coursework. One night, John's advisor called him in. John, you're one of my best students, but your work this semester has been subpar. What's going on? John explained about Sofia, about her mother, about everything. His advisor listened, then said, love makes us do extraordinary things, but you need to take care of yourself too. You can't help Sofia if you burn out. John knew he was right, but he didn't know how to pull back, how to watch Sofia struggle and not do everything in his power to help. Then came the day that changed everything. Sofia got a call from the hospital. She and John rushed there to find Maria's doctor waiting with an expression they couldn't read. The latest scans are in, he said. Sofia gripped John's hand so hard it hurt. The tumor is shrinking significantly. The treatment is working. Sofia's knees buckled. John caught her, holding her up as she sobbed with relief. Are you sure? You're sure? We'll need to continue treatment. But yes, your mother is responding extremely well. I'm cautiously optimistic. That night, Sofia and John sat on the steps of the library, their special playstand just breathed. For the first time in months, the weight on their shoulders felt lighter. We did it, Sofia whispered. She's going to be okay. You did it, John corrected. You saved her? We did it together, Sofia said firmly. You, me, everyone who helped. It took a village, and I am so grateful to be part of one. John pulled her close. What happens now? Sofia looked at him. This man who had stood by her through the darkest time of her life, who had sacrificed so much, who loved her with a depth that still amazed her. Now we live, she said. We graduate. We build the future we've been fighting for. Together. Together, John agreed, and kissed her as the stars came out above them. 2 years later, Sofia stood in her cap and gown, summa cum laude honors hanging around her neck. She'd finished her degree in English literature with a 3.95 GP, a not perfect, but earned through blood, sweat, and tears. Her mother stood beside her, healthy and beaming, wearing a sundress instead of a hospital gown. The clinical trial had worked. Maria Rodriguez was in full remission, stronger than she'd been in years. I'm so proud of you, Mia, Maria said, tears streaming down her face. You never gave up. On me, on yourself, on your dreams. I learned from the best, Sofia replied, hugging her mother tightly. Across the crowd, she spotted John with his family. Heidi graduated a year earlier with his engineering degree and was now working at a prestigious firm. When he caught her eye, he held up a small pendant thaw, half-heart she'd given him on his graduation day. She touched her matching necklace and smiled. After the ceremony, their families met for the first time, a joyous collision of the people who had supported them through the hardest years of their lives. So you're the young man who helped save my best friend's life, Maria said, embracing John warmly. With respect, Mrs. Rodriguez, Sofia saved herself. I just had the honor of standing beside her while she did it. John's mother pulled Sofia aside. Take care of my son, she said. He's never loved anyone the way he loves you. I will, Sofia promised. He's my whole heart. That evening, as the celebration wound down, John and Sofia found themselves back at the library steps. It had become their place where they'd met, where they'd fought, where they'd fallen deeper in love with each passing day. Remember that first day? Sofia asked, leaning against John. You, soaking wet? Holding your jacket over my ridiculous tarp? Best decision I ever made, John said without hesitation. Well, second best. What's the first? John pulled a small box from his pocket and dropped to one knee. Sofia's hands flew to her mouth, tears already streaming down her face. Sofia Rodriguez, you are the bravest, strongest, most amazing person I've ever known. You taught me what it means to fight for something, to love with everything you have, to never give up, even when the world seems Impossible. He opened the box to reveal a simple, beautiful ring. I know we're young. I know we have our whole lives ahead of us, but I want to spend every single day of that life with you. Will you marry me? Sofia dropped to her knees in front of him, not caring that her gown was getting dirty, not caring that people were staring. Yes, she sobbed. Yes, yes, 1,000 times, yes. Jong slipped the ring on her finger, a simple band with a small diamond bought with money from his first paycheck. It wasn't extravagant, but it was real, just like their love. They kissed there on the library steps where their story had begun, where a boy had offered his jacket to a girl selling sweets, where love had bloomed in the most unexpected way. Around them, students and families applauded. Someone started a chant, "Sofia! Sofia!" Sofia laughed through her tears, pulling John to his feet. They stood together, hands clasped, rings glinting in the evening light, to people who had fought through darkness to find their light. "I love you," Sofia whispered. "I love you too," John replied. "Always have, always will." Sofia's Sweets stood on the corner of Main and Fifth, its windows displaying an array of beautiful treats. The bakery had become a beloved fixture in the community, a place where college students came to study, where couples had first dates, where the smell of fresh cookies and vanilla always hung in the air like a promise of good things. Inside, Sofia Martinez, she still got a little thrill every time she heard her married name supervised a staff of 8, most of them college students working their way through school. The bakery had a special program. Scholarships for students facing financial hardship, funded by the profits from the business. So far, they'd helped 15 students stay in school. "Mrs. Martinez, the anniversary cake is ready for your approval," called out Jasmine, one of her employees, a sophomore working 3 jobs just like Sofia once had. Sofia smiled at the title and went to inspect the 3-tiered masterpiece, white fondant with delicate sugar flowers, exactly as the customer had requested. "Perfect!" The bell above the door chimed, and Sofia looked up to see her husband walk in, still wearing his work clothes from the engineering firm where he was now a senior project manager. Even after 3 years of marriage, 5 years of being together, the sight of him still made her heart skip. "Hey, beautiful," John said, pulling her in for a kiss that made Jasmine and the other employees giggle and pretend not to watch. "Get a room. You too," Marcus called out from his corner table. John's old roommate had become their unofficial business partner, handling the financial side of Sofia's Sweets while finishing his MBA. "How was work?" Sofia asked, wiping a smudge of frosting from John's collar. "Good. Great, actually." John's eyes were shining with excitement. "I got promoted. Lead engineer on the new sustainability project." Sofia squealed and threw her arms around him. "John, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Couldn't have done it without you," John said, holding her close. "You taught me to never give up, to fight for my dreams." "We taught each other," Sofia corrected, the phrase that had become their mantra over the years. John pulled out his phone. "Also, I have something to show you." On the screen was Sofia's first published novel, Sweet Sunrise, a story about a girl who sells baked goods to save her mother and finds love along the way. The book had been released 2 months ago and was climbing the bestseller lists. "Look at the reviews," John said, scrolling. 5 stars across the board. "Listen to this one. A beautiful story about love, sacrifice, and the strength it takes to accept help. This book made me laugh, cry, and believe in the power of human connection." A must-read. Sofia felt tears prick her eyes. "I can't believe people are actually reading my words." "My story, our story," John said softly, "and it deserves to be told. You deserve to be heard." The dedication in the book read, "For John, who taught me that real love means choosing each other every single day. And for my mother, who showed me that strength comes in many forms." Sofia's phone buzzed. A text from her mother, "Mia, I'm at the house preparing dinner. Don't forget family dinner at 6. And bring extra dessert. Your aunt is bringing the whole clan." Sofia laughed. Her mother, now 5 years cancer-free, had become the matriarch of their ever-growing family. She volunteered at the hospital, counseling other patients facing similar battles, spreading hope wherever she went. "We should start closing up," Sofia said, looking at the clock. "Mom will kill us if we're late." As her employees began the closing routine, Sofia walked through her bakery, touching tables, straightening chairs, remembering the girl she'd been 5 years, a good desperate, terrified, alone. That girl had sold sweets from a folding table with a leaking tarp, never imagining that one rainy day would change her entire life. "What are you thinking about?" John asked, coming up behind her and wrapping his arms around her waist. "That first day," Sofia said, leaning back against him. "When you stopped to help me, when you could have just walked by like everyone else did." "Best decision I ever made," John murmured against her hair. "You say that a lot?" Sofia teased. "Because it's true every single time." They stood there together, watching the sunset paint the sky, orange and pink through the bakery windows. Around them, the life they'd built together hummed with quiet contentment, the business they'd grown, the community they'd created, the love they'd fought so hard to protect. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you hadn't stopped that day?" Sofia asked quietly. "If you'd just kept walking," John turned her around to face him, his hands cupping her face gently. "I think about it sometimes," he admitted. "And it scares me, because a world where I don't know you, where I don't love you, where we didn't build this beautiful life together, that's not a world I want to imagine." Sofia stood on her tiptoes to kiss him, pouring 5 years of gratitude and love into it. "Thank you," she whispered, "for seeing me, for loving me, for never giving up on us." "Thank you for letting me in," John replied, "for trusting me with your heart, for building this incredible life with me." Jasmine cleared her throat. "Sorry to interrupt, but we're all closed up. Unless you two want to make out in the bakery all night, which, no judgment, we're ready to go." Sofia laughed, wiping away happy tears. "Go home, everyone. See you tomorrow." As her employees filed out, calling goodbyes and have a good nights, Sofia took one last look around her bakery. On the wall hung the original sign from her table, "Homemade sweets help me pay for books," framed and cherished as a reminder of where she'd started. Next to it was a photo from their wedding day, Sofia in a simple white dress, John in his suit, both of them laughing as they fed each other cake. Her mother stood beside them, healthy and radiant, her eyes full of joy. And beside that, a framed copy of John's first poem about her, the one he'd written during those early days when love was new and terrifying and wonderful. She sells sweetness wrapped in sugar, but the real treasure is her heart. In her eyes, I see tomorrow. In her smile, a brand new start. She thinks she stands alone and broken, carrying weight too heavy to bear. But I see strength in every struggle. I see beauty everywhere. If she'd let me, I would show her she's the bravest soul I know. And together, we're unstoppable together. We can grow. Still terrible poetry, Sofia teased, though her voice was thick with emotion. Still the truth, John replied. They walked out of the bakery, hand in hand, locking up their dream, heading toward family, dinner, and the rest of their lives. The street was busy with evening traffic, people hurrying home, students walking to study groups, couples on dates, the normal chaos of a college town on a Friday night. But John and Sofia barely noticed. They were lost in their own world, in the magic of a love story that had started with a leaking tarp and a boy too kind to walk away. You know what the best part is? Sofia said as they walked. We're just getting started. We have our whole lives ahead of us. What do you want to do with it? John asked. Besides write more bestsellers and run the best bakery in town? Sofia thought about it. I want to travel, see the world, maybe open more bakeries in other cities, help more students, write more books. She paused, then added softly, maybe start a family someday, if you want that too. John stopped walking and pulled her close. I want everything with you, every adventure, every dream, every quiet Tuesday night, all of it, even the hard parts. Sofia asked, because life isn't always going to be easy. There will be more storms, Especially the hard parts, John said firmly, because that's when love matters most. When things get tough, and we choose each other anyway. When we fight together instead of alone. Sofia felt tears stream down her face, happy tears this time, joyful tears. How did I get so lucky? To find you, to have you love me. I'm the lucky one, John insisted. You taught me what it means to be brave, to care about something bigger than myself. You made me a better person. We made each other better, Sofia said, the truth of it resonating through her entire being. They continued walking past the university campus where they'd met, past the library steps where their story had begun, past the hospital where they'd spent so many terrified hours, past all the landmarks of their shared history. And with each step, Sofia felt gratitude flood through her, gratitude for the mother who had survived, gratitude for the boy who had stopped to help, gratitude for every person who had contributed to their miracle, gratitude for the strength she'd found when she thought she had none left, gratitude for love real, complicated, beautiful love. I love you, John Martinez, she said, squeezing his hand. I love you too, Sofia Martinez, he replied. Always have, always will. They arrived at her mother's house to find it blazing with lights and full of noise. Family, friends, laughter, life. Maria opened the door, pulling them both into a hug that smelled like home. There you are. Come in, come in. Everyone's waiting for the guests of honor. Inside, the table was laden with food, surrounded by the people who had carried them through the darkness. John's parents, Sofia's aunt and cousins. Marcus and his girlfriend, employees from the bakery, friends from college, all of them together, all of them celebrating not just Sofia's book release, but the miracle of their continued existence, their thriving, their joy. As they sat down to eat, surrounded by love and laughter, Sofia caught John's eye across the table. He smiled at her, the same smile that had captured her heart on a rainy Tuesday 5 years ago, and mouthed, I love you. Sofia smiled back, her heart so full it felt like it might burst. I love you too, she mouthed back. And in that moment, in that house full of people who had fought alongside them, Sofia realized something profound. Love doesn't always arrive with fanfare or grand gestures. Sometimes it starts with a boy holding his jacket over a leaking tarp. Sometimes it grows in the space between crisis and hope. Sometimes it's built through sacrifice and trust and choosing each other every single day. Their love story wasn't perfect. It had been forged in fire, tested by impossible odds, shaped by tears and fear and desperate prayers. But it was real. It was theirs. And it was more beautiful than any fairy tale because they had earned it together. As dinner continued around her, as John's hand found hers under the table, as her mother laughed at one of Marcus's terrible jokes, as the people she loved most in the world filled the room with warmth and noise and life, Sofia closed her eyes and sent up a silent prayer of thanks. Thank you for the rainy day. Thank you for the boy who stopped. Thank you for the courage to let love in. Thank you for second chances. Thank you for this beautiful, messy, perfect life. When she opened her eyes, John was watching her, love written all over his face. What are you thinking about? He whispered. Everything, Sofia whispered back. And how grateful I am for all of it, especially you. John lifted her hand to his lips and kissed it gently. The feeling is entirely mutual, Mrs. Martinez. And as the evening stretched on, as stories were told and memories shared, as love filled every corner of that little house, Sofia knew with absolute certainty that this right here was her happy ending. No, not an ending. A beginning. Because the best part of their story wasn't how they'd survived the storm, it was what they were building together in the sunshine that followed, and they had the rest of their lives to build it. Asterisk, sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones that almost didn't happen. The ones that required courage to begin and strength to sustain. The ones built on a foundation of mutual respect, shared sacrifice, and the simple choice to keep showing up for each other day after day. Asterisk, John and Sofia's story reminds us that love isn't about grand gestures or perfect timing. It's about seeing someone really seeing the man choosing to care. It's about standing beside someone in their darkest hour and believing in their light. It's about accepting help when you've spent your whole life being strong alone. Asterisk. Asterisk, it's about a boy who stopped to help a girl with a leaking tarp. Asterisk. Asterisk, it's about a girl who learned to trust despite her fear. Asterisk. Asterisk, it's about two people who chose each other again and again until choosing each other became as natural as breathing. Asterisk, asterisk, and in the end, that's the sweetest love story of all. Asterisk. Asterisk, may we all be brave enough to stop for someone selling sweets in the rain. May we all be courageous enough to let love in. And may we all find someone who chooses us, especially when life gets hard. Asterisk, asterisk, because that's when love matters most.